Welcome to episode number 133 of the BEBC
BS
Podcast. There's a lot of empty chairs around the table.
Yeah.
You know, the last game of the year is
Maybe
really
we all
hard.
ought to move down to the end.
I need more skeletons to put in here.
Yeah, that's true.
I got a
We'll
little.
give it a
We
few
could put
years.
Ginger in one and Riley in the other one.
There we go, and the dogs sit in.
Woo, woo.
I tried to get my wife and my mom to come. They wouldn't come out here. They wouldn't do it.
They knew better.
Yeah, they did. So, James is bowling in Tulsa. So he left the game last night and was driving to Tulsa for a 9 o'clock. In fact, he starts in 2 minutes. So good luck, James, with your bowling tournament. Nolan is
Doing what Nolan does.
playing Uber driver this morning. You know, and so
Well, he's suffering because his alma mater got beat down.
took it on the chin last night.
Yeah.
Like really bad, really quick. That was fun. Yeah, what did he say? I heard him yell at one point in the game. I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, we moved to a new position in the stadium
Yes,
last
we did.
night.
We did.
And Nolan had all the fans down there in stitches in some of his comments.
Yeah, Sherry asked me, she goes, "What's he doing?" I said, "He's holding court." I said,
Yeah.
"I don't know what he's saying, but he had everybody turn around laughing, so I guess it was funny."
Well, you know.
It's Nolan comedy. But anyhow, the Eagles win 59-6 over Richardson. I won't sit here and say I'm surprised by that result, given what we had talked about. And we didn't get in with Coach Wigg last week about what to expect with Richardson, but we'll ask him today, did this look like the script you thought it was going to be? An interesting game, and we'll talk about that later as we get into that. We started last week actually with basketball,
Yep.
and we had a great trip over to Jesuit Tuesday night.
Talking about the best student section and all of whatever,
Yeah.
they were pretty incredible.
If you've never been to a basketball game at Jesuit, I encourage you just to go. You watched it. I don't know if you could tell.
You could hear him.
Yeah, it's an all-boys school, and there were probably 200 of them.
Easy. Yeah. They
They-
put on a show.
They do. They all sit in one section. They got synchronized chants. They do the bowling thing to start the game, which is really cool.
That was pretty awesome.
For you don't know what that is, as they introduce the players, all the guys are standing up, and the last player gets introduced, acts like he's bowling across the floor, and when the ball gets to them, they all fall
They
down.
fall
really,
back.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Really
But
cool.
they're loud, and the gym's small, and it's a pretty intimidating place to play.
Yeah.
The guys kind of played with their food the first half, and then blew them out in the second half, so that was fun. And they went down to Pasadena on Wednesday for a tournament, which they're still in. They won their pool. They won their quarterfinal game, and in the semifinals yesterday, they lost to San Antonio Brennan 71-66 in overtime. And Brennan is considered, if Allen's not number one in the state, Brennan is. And so that was kind of a 1 versus 2. And again, Allen was down 11 at the half, came back and tied it at the end of regulation, hung in there a little bit in overtime, and then at the very end just didn't quite get it done. But they play today at 1:30 in the in the third place game against our old friends Denton Geyer and Coach Long. I was like, dadgummit,
You need to text him.
Yeah, well, he's not on. I don't have his number, but wish I did. But anyhow, they play today for a third place position down there against Geyer, the old district foe, who will no longer play. But tell Coach Long we love him. So good for basketball. They are at. They're off this week until next Saturday. They play in Duncanville against Westminster Academy from Florida, another one of those private schools. I think that game's 3 o'clock on Saturday down in Duncanville. And then the following week, district play actually starts. December 3rd at McKinney, against McKinney. And then
Home against Princeton.
Home against Princeton on the 10th, and that'll be the first home district game. So district game starts, and then on the 13th they go to Plano West, and then later in the month, in December, you have the In-N-Out Invitational, which starts the day after Christmas. It's 3 days. It's a great chance to see a bunch of good teams. And Allen will play 4 or 5 times in that. They were in the finals last year, lost to Beaumont United in a really good game. And so anyhow, that's our basketball update.
You know, I heard the Princeton game was actually supposed to be played at Princeton, but their gym only had 10 seats, so they had to move it here.
10.
It's an outdoor court.
It's on
Yeah.
It's on the public courts in Princeton outdoors with
Concrete
chain
nets. Wow.
Well, it's only a half, so they have to go down.
We are being rude. They probably have a nice facility. But did you ever get your fingers caught in those chains?
No, I was never tall enough. Maybe you want to get on a ladder to dunk it or something.
8-foot goals, yeah. You go to hit it, and
but they made a lot of noise when you did make a basket or you swish it.
Exactly.
Chains rattling.
Yeah. So that would be that's funny. But nah, Princeton probably has a nice basketball facility. They still need to upgrade those football facilities for 6A. But
I don't know if that'll ever happen.
I don't know what.
I really don't.
No idea. So Allen wins second round playoff game, 59-6.
Man, spoilers.
Oh yeah,
100, 100.
Didn't know. The 133rd game in the history of Allen Eagle football. 1973 season. They go in at 3-3, and they play Crandall. Oh, yeah, still just. If you remember last year, in 1972, Allen beat Crandall 9-6. We talked about the Battle of Field Goals. 1973 against Crandall, they won 7-6. So they do it 1 point better. So they lose the previous week to Royce City 7-6. They win the next week 7-6. So 7-6 seems to be the theme. The 133rd victory in the history of Allen Eagle football. You know, 132nd win happened in 1984. Remember, that's we talked about. That was the year they went 0-8, then finally won the next to last game of the year, and they beat McKinney to get their 132nd victory. They ended the year losing Terrell 28-7, so they finished that year 1-9.
Ouch.
So remember, 83 they were undefeated, lost in the first round of the playoffs. 84 they won one game, which was the next to last game of the year against McKinney.
Having an FSU type season.
Oh, Cowboy season.
Yeah, it's awful. The most points they scored in that 1984 season was 20 in one game. They were only shut out once, which is good, but they scored 7 points 1, 2, 3, 4 times, 6 points one time. They weren't very good offensively. So we roll into 1985. They played Midlothian in the first game of the year, and they beat Midlothian 29-13.
It's like more points than they scored the entire last season.
Almost, yeah. So they go to 1-0 on the year in 1985, and we'll see what happens to them next week. So check mark that one off. There you go. Well, it was a big victory for the Eagles last night, the Allen Eagles. The Richardson Eagles, not so much.
No.
A lot of fireworks at the beginning of the game, though.
You know, it was kind of like things that haven't happened all year. We hadn't given a kickoff return for a touchdown all year, had we?
No, but I'll tell you, that kid over there, he's one fast, elusive person. I mean, my gosh.
I was thinking, after, of course, the kickoff return, he was really quick, and then after, because he seemed to be their player. That's the guy they go to.
Right.
And you could tell, and after watching him, I was like, he might be the quickest football player I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He was so fast. I bet he runs track. Damian Crow. Yeah, he takes the opening kickoff, goes to the left, and the next thing you know, he's standing in the end zone, and you're like, wow. That was pretty amazing.
He just ran away from everybody.
It was crazy. I was like, dude, how did you get so fast? And how did, again, our special teams have been really good all year long. Most of the time Bowman either gets it in the end zone or it's certainly inside the 20 or 25. And to give up a touchdown, you're like, and of course, false hope for those guys because on the ensuing kickoff, and I'll be honest with you, I was distracted during the first quarter because the basketball game was still going on, and I had it up on YouTube, and I was watching it, and so I missed the actual kick. And then when I look up, here comes Holloway at the 50-yard line. I was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And I did get to see the replay. Somebody posted it on Twitter, but yeah, he catches it over on the far right side and comes left, and next thing you know, he's in the end zone. And then we kick the extra point. Allen kicks it, go up 7-6, and I started singing, anything you can do, we can do better. Sure got a kick out of that because we can kick and you can't. So, and I didn't see that kick got blocked. Their extra point attempt got blocked,
yes,
but did. I didn't.
It was low.
No, it was 90 or 94. One of those two. I don't know. One of them was a big game. He came off the field pretty excited about it, and James will have that highlight. But yeah. So anyhow, Allen goes up 7-6, and then it's just
touchdown after touchdown after touchdown.
I was looking because I had to make sure before I said it, but Allen scored on every possession they had last night except for the last one.
Right. Which they were getting ready to score. If they had 10 more seconds, they would have scored.
I thought they were going to run a play. I mean, they lined up, too. And I was like, come on, Will, because, everybody, like you said, those guys, it was way down the depth chart. Mm-hmm. Those guys practiced just as hard as everybody else, and you want to give them a chance. And especially after number 78 for Richardson decided to do whatever he was doing to our guy bouncing on him and got, I think Coach Wade was like, all right, you're going to play like that, we're going to do it again. But it ends up being 52-6 at half. It kind of took the foot off the gas a little bit. Plus, running clock.
Running clock, yeah.
Which I was trying to remember if we'd ever had a running clock before since I've been watching.
I vaguely remember maybe
I feel
one
like,
time.
Yeah, it's happened at least once before.
Yeah. But, they were so excited after that run back they had. They go, oh, look, we're going to win. Fans were all fired up. The team was all fired up.
Fan was fired up.
Yeah. And then, after 3 straight touchdowns in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was.
The look on that sideline was just like.
Yeah, with 9 minutes left in the first quarter, we had 21 points.
Right.
So in the first 3 minutes of the game, we had 21 points. So, yeah, it went south real quick. Yeah. I had they scored that touchdown, and the 2 older ladies in front of me. I don't know how much older they are than me anymore, but they were. And I leaned down to them. They were like, "Oh my!" I said, "Don't worry." I said, "That might be the only points they score all night." Sure enough, it was true. I said, "I just didn't feel after." Because I went and looked at some Richardson highlights, and I went and looked at their schedule, and I looked at who they beat, who they lost to. I was like, this defense is just going to shut these guys down. And I showed the guys the stats at half. Richardson had 23 total yards.
It was ugly.
-2 rushing.
And we had 347, something like that.
Exactly.
At halftime.
At halftime. And you're up 52-6, and for all intents and purposes, to me the game was over once it got to 21. Because you could see offensively they weren't
going anywhere.
No. They weren't going to be able to do anything.
And that second half lasted like 15 minutes. It was like gone.
And I don't remember. I can't remember whether I got in the car or whether I got home. And it was 9:30.
Yeah. You got in the car at 9:30.
9:30.
When we got
and you're like, unbelievable.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
And it was starting to get cold out there too.
We hung around the game at the stadium.
Oh yeah, that game was probably over at 9:10, 9:15. Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Allen Eagle fans who really showed up last night.
Yeah.
Now I never went up in the upper deck.
Never could see the upper deck, but the bottom bowl was packed
shots
full.
on the screen looked like we had pretty good.
I couldn't. I didn't look. Maybe we'll find it somewhere. But the lower bowl, was totally full.
Yeah, really full.
You know, the band, of course, the band's on that one end.
People coming in after the game started and looking down, see if they can find something. Like, really? Should have got here a lot earlier.
You guys just go upstairs, and there's plenty of general admission up there too. But yeah, it was awesome. I was like, way to show up, you know, and they got their money's worth last night.
And boy, the tunnel crew got that A up there pretty quickly.
Did they? I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I mean, it was like no time, no struggle, went right up.
12 games in, baby. They finally got it.
They got it. Keep coming each week from now to the next year, next season, and keep practicing it.
That thing is so stinking big.
It is.
It's like a monster. Thank you, Lance.
Yeah, and then our halftime, third quarter blow up is the exact same thing as Richardson, but just a different color.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. Exact same.
I didn't even
blow up.
I don't know where I was last night. I missed a lot of the game, I guess. There's a bug trying. Anywho, we'll talk to Coach Wig here in about 2 minutes, see what his pulse is today. I imagine he's feeling pretty good about things.
Yeah.
Find out later today who will be playing. We're going to ask him. He probably already knows where and when. It's just a matter of who at this point. But I want to ask him about that. See what his general feel is. Because I'm going to ask him, because, you know, again, you get coach speak before the game. You can ask him afterwards, you know, is this what you saw coming? Did you expect this? You know, how do you feel the kids performed? You know, Bricker didn't even play in the second half. You know, a lot of in fact, I don't think most of the starters were out. Most of the starters were out to start the second half. And so you're like, he dialed it back pretty quick. But boy, he coached. I watched him last night. He was walking the sidelines, and you know, I'd never noticed before walking the sidelines and just talking to himself in some way. He's talking to people in the booth. He's going back and forth, you know, like this, you know, and not talking. I'm going, what's he doing? You know,
this is when we find out the radios weren't working.
Coach, who are you talking to, man?
Looking up in the thing, going, sign like
the ghost of coach's past. He's got Bear Bryant on the line.
Exactly. All right, it's time to give him a buzz here. Let's see what he's up to this morning.
Hello.
Hey, yes.
Hey.
Hey, how are y'all?
Man, we're great. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Well, 52-6. Did you see it coming? 59-6. I'm sorry.
No.
No?
Did not.
Well, cool then. Then you got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. No. I was really, really proud of the way. Obviously, the way the guys played again. You know, they struggled obviously against us, you know, with their offense, you know, and I don't really know their plan. You know, I couldn't really see exactly what they were attempting to do. You know, I thought they would come out and say, hey, we're just going to commit to trying to run the ball. But they, you know, we got behind and maybe they panicked a bit. But defensively, you know, our guys felt like after playing the game that, you know, they had a player or two who is as good as anyone that we've gone against, and they were really, really physical in the box and whipped us at times. But I was proud of the way the guys just kept battling and just, you know, kind of found a way to turn a no-yard gain or a 1-yard gain into a 3 or 4 or sometimes explosive gain. So just really, really proud. Ultimately, the thing that you know stood out to me after going through the film was just how they competed so hard.
Have you ever seen back-to-back kickoff returns like that before?
I don't. If I have, certainly don't remember it.
Yeah, we were trying to think if we had ever seen it either, and I was telling these guys, being honest, you know, the basketball team was playing and they weren't done yet, and they scored on the kickoff return, and it was in overtime, and I was watching the game, and I missed the actual kick, but I looked up and Holloway's on the 50-yard line headed the other way. I'm like, what just happened here? So,
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was a good response to them thinking, okay, we've got something here.
Yeah, it was, and frustrating kicks. We didn't. Just that was poor execution across the board. By a whole lot of people on that opening kick, and then that was the message. On the sideline was simply that. How are we going to respond? It's our turn. They ran it back, and that was exactly what I told them. As I said, you're about to do the same. Get out here. And we felt pretty comfortable with where the ball was going, and I was glad to see that Brett was able to get out there and make a play, and the guys blocked it perfectly, and it was a good response to ultimately crush any momentum that they had.
Yeah, really quickly too.
Yeah, it showed. Their faces for the rest of the game was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, not only that, but just it seems when we had gone through everything earlier here, and just Allen scored on every possession that you had the ball, except for the last one.
Yeah.
And if you'd had 10 more seconds, you'd have probably scored then.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that was good. Obviously.
Yeah.
It was good that some guys that aren't used to getting in there and doing that were ones that did it as well. And I do feel like that if we could have got off one more snap, I think they might have found a way to get it in as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you always want those guys because they're out there practicing just as hard as everybody else, and for those guys to get the opportunity, it's great.
Yeah, they were excited and they played well. They played together. I mean, it was really great to watch.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, really, really good.
Well, that one's behind us, and now you have to sit and wait today to get. It's just like last year. Which one of these two are you gonna square up against next week? Do you have any thoughts on that game?
I don't. Games are. You see, as games are televised. On NFHS. Across the state. We'll have coaches that'll go back through and you can archive games and look at stuff, and the word I'm hearing is that Legacy, is a completely different team. And their coach told me when we played them early in the year, he was telling me that he had a bunch of players out, and he felt like when he got them back, and he was going to move some people around. He felt like he was going to be able to be a lot better. So I'm sure that has happened. Trinity, same. I haven't seen either, but just from those conversations, Trinity, it sounds like is just Trinity, right? They're just huge and physical and outstanding on offense. I don't know. It's hard to guess. They played the week after we played, and I think Trinity won by 17 or so. I feel like it was like 58-41 or something like that.
Right.
And so if you say that Legacy changed a lot since then, and I'm sure Trinity has improved a lot too. I would think going into it, Trinity's probably 10 to 14 point favorites. If I were solely using that logic. If you ask me thoughts on who I'd rather play,
that was my next question. Very good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just happy to be playing this time of year. Really, doesn't matter who it is, we'd be fired up just to have an opportunity to be playing. But for our fans and those things, you have you're going to get a lot less travel, probably. With Trinity, right? Obviously it would be local.
Right.
With Legacy, the question of, we don't know anything about where it would be, but is it in Abilene? Is it much further than that? Who knows?
Yeah.
So I think from from that perspective, from the fans, I would, and we haven't ever played Trinity. I know it would be a tremendous challenge. Just the respect of the game part of it for me. I think that would be really cool. Playing Trinity. I know there's been some really good Allen Trinity games over the years.
Right.
But I mean, again, ultimately, you're in the third round of the playoffs, and it's going to be a really good team no matter who it is you play. And I'm just excited that our kids get to be there.
Yeah. So based on what we just heard, then I guess time and date hasn't been set for either game, depending on who. Yeah. Okay.
No. We've talked more to Trinity. Legacy typically likes to wait until after the game and then hammer it out.
Okay.
He's real big on, and I understand it. He's going to lean towards wanting to always flip people home and home.
Yeah.
His logic is, look, we travel. It's no big deal. Y'all don't. It's a big deal. And he's right? I mean, Trinity is getting up at 5 o'clock this morning and getting on charter buses and driving out to Midland for her 2. I mean, that's not normal. Whatever else you want to call it, it's certainly not normal.
Yeah.
Right? So, is that an advantage? I mean, I certainly don't think it's an advantage for Trinity, right? There's something to that. So his, again, his logic is, and the way that works is if he wants home and home and we don't, then he has to win a coin toss for us to go home and home. Then he has to win another one for it to be at his home, right?
Yep.
He doesn't care whether it's here or there. All he cares is, like we're playing on back-to-back years. If you play a playoff game at someone's house, then if y'all play again within the next 2 years, they have to come to your place. So that's what happened last year. They played Trinity in a home and home at Trinity, which he's perfectly fine with. He doesn't care. I'll drive there. I'll drive everywhere. Well, he knows this year it has to come out to his place.
Yeah.
Which if we would have played Trinity last year, if Trinity would have won that game against Legacy, that we would have been playing at Trinity because 2 years prior to that, Trinity played in Allen.
Yeah, that's true. Yep, you're right. Okay. Well, I don't think it. I don't know if you got a chance to look up. The crowd last night was wonderful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I don't ever after kickoff. I don't ever look or see or hear any of that. So that's awesome to hear.
Well, that's good. Then you can't hear all the bad things we say about you when we yell.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's why I wear those things in my ears.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
Notice last night you walking the sidelines and just kind of looks like you're talking to yourself and going back and forth, and I'm going, what in the world? And I was probably talking to the booth.
Yeah, I don't know when it was. There's a whole lot of things being said.
We want that feed one night. That'd be entertaining, I'm sure.
No, you don't.
But no, it was a good. Now we sat in the lower bowl, which is usually we sit up top, but the lower bowl was totally full, and I don't know what upstairs looked like, but it was really a cool crowd to be in, and everybody was into it. So I think you'll have a good crowd this weekend wherever it's at coming up. So
yeah, awesome. And it's going to be. I do think this. No matter who it is, it's going to be a heck of a game. And again, I know. Y'all know you've been doing it a long time, and playing over Thanksgiving is cool.
Yeah.
There'll be after today, there'll be 16 teams left in our division, so
yeah,
getting pretty serious.
The pucker factor gets a little bit higher every week.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I had a question. I wrote this down last night because I was looking at the scores from around the state, and just to get your perspective on it. And you were the president of the Coaches Association, so there were not very many. Of all the games last night, probably 80% of them were blowouts. And so I kind of looked at it and go, and I know it's not going to change, but is there a thought process amongst people that there are too many teams in playoffs in Texas?
I don't think there's that talk. I don't think people feel that. I think, and nothing will change. I don't see how it could change. There's probably been a lot of people that have brought up, hey, should you do a seeding once you get those 64 teams? Should you do a seeding? By region, maybe you say, okay, let's take the 16 in that region and let's seed them 1 through 16 and have 1 play 16, 2 play 15, and so on. They're not going to do that probably ever because of travel, because conceivably a 16 seed Allen could be put up against a number 1 seed El Paso in the first round.
I think you got that backwards, but that's okay.
Yeah. But I don't know if any El Paso people would be listening and disrespectful, but that's probably not feasible or financially responsible. What there is talk, and it's just disappointing to me. And again, I'm not going to talk any games, but I will talk a couple of teams. But Louisville and Prosper are a whole lot better than a lot of teams that played last night.
Right.
So again, there's a part of you that said, look, you're for us, our goal is to win a state championship, right? And that's the goal. So you're like, okay, if you get beat in the second round, third round, fourth round, fifth round, sixth round, you didn't win a state championship. That's true. But there is something too of, just staying in the dance a little bit longer, and it's sad to me that you have, a really good Louisville team and a really good Prosper team that are sitting at home and probably could have beat in 6A Division I playoffs a whole lot of those other 32 teams that are still in it.
Yeah. It's just
I don't think there is an answer of how you could do it differently or better. But it is interesting how sometimes it bounces that way.
Yeah, if you go to a 7A though, that would probably, because it's going to whittle the pool down.
Yeah, a 7A would really be 6A Division I. Is really what you're talking. So all it does is probably, you just take those guys from the get-go. Right now, you're taking the top 2 teams that qualify from the playoffs in each district and calling them Division I. You go to a 7A, you pretty much just say, okay, hey, 6A Division I, you top whatever teams, you're the 7A now. So I don't know that does anything either. It's just the way it's gonna. Just the way it's gonna be. There's certain areas year to year that are going to be better than others, and when they match up, there's going to be some lopsided games. I think that does take care of itself, pretty much by the third round anyway.
Yeah, it does. It was just glaring last night when you looked at the scores. You're like, wow.
Well, but you think to the basketball tournament as well, and not that it happens in that same way, but sometimes you'll see a 15 beat a 2. And then maybe the next week or the next, the Saturday, they get blown out by 50, just because they had their one night that they were all on and really, really hot. And then the talent level just balanced out. And they're like, okay, this was as far as we were destined to go.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Again, we'll play somebody next week, and y'all will be ready for them. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, we will indeed.
Okay. Well, you went 4-1 last week, which got you tied with Chris, but yours truly went 5-0 to gain a game on Chris. So you're still 2 behind him. I'm 1 behind him, and we're weeding down here. So we have I started to pick. There's a lot of teams playing patsies this week, and I started to pick games like that just to be mean. But everybody had a 5-0 week, but I didn't. So we got some actually pretty entertaining games. First one, BYU at Arizona State. And Arizona State is actually 8-2. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah. I do think BYU is going to win, but I'll take Arizona State just because I like what they're doing. I think that they're, I think they came in. They were not very good last year, and I think that coach must have something going on in the locker room that I would certainly respect if I knew what it was. So because of that reason, I would choose them.
Plus, you have former Allen Eagle Jordan Tyson playing on that team, so he's played wide receiver for those guys.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, here's an interesting one, and we'll see if you're patriotic or Catholic. Army's at Notre Dame.
Yeah. I'll take Notre Dame, but I do really, really like what they have going on over there. But I mean, again, it's just going to be really tough.
Yep.
Talent-wise, for them to hold up 4 quarters, I'm afraid.
Okay. Big game in the Big 12, Colorado at Kansas. And, poor Kansas, up until, they've been in every game in the fourth quarter. And they can't seem to finish, but they did last week. And so you have Colorado traveling to Kansas.
Yeah, I'll take Kansas in that game. Partially, I think their coaches do a phenomenal job, both coaching on the field, but they also, not that it matters to anyone else, but they really do a great job of maintaining and working on high school relations with coaches in the state of Texas. So,
okay.
Got any thoughts on Coach Prime?
Yeah, you have any thoughts on Coach Prime? Did you say no?
I think he was a heck of a football player.
He is. He was.
Yeah.
Okay, this might be a layup, but I put it on here just because it's intriguing. Bama's at OU.
Yeah, I'll take Bama. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this week, Kevin Sperry, the quarterback from Geyer.
Yeah, I did see that.
Flipped to FSU.
Florida State.
Yeah. I'm like, does that tell you something about the state of OU at the moment or what? You just never know, but wow.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that or you've got to think, that so when they benched Jackson Arnold early in the year, he hadn't played his 4th game yet, right? So you're thinking that that he's going to not go back in the rest of the year. He's going to use his redshirt year, enter the portal, and go somewhere else. At least that's what my thinking is. Well, then when they bring him back in, you've got to think there was, in this day and age, sadly, my thoughts are, okay, they had conversations that moving forward, he's going to be the guy. I think if you don't have those conversations, I don't know, kind of like the UNLV quarterback. I don't know that you don't say, I'm sitting out then. I'm not gonna waste my games on you if you're not gonna commit to me. And if that happened, again, that's just sitting on the outside looking. If that happened, then do all these other quarterbacks say, look, if you're committing to that guy, why am I gonna come in?
Yeah.
Why don't I go somewhere that this team says, hey, I'm your guy? And if Florida State came in and also an NIL, I'm sure that doesn't mean they just said we'd like you to come here. I'm sure there was more to it than that. But if they're saying you can come in day one and you are our guy, yeah, no clue if that was said. But if they say that, then to a kid, that probably is meaningful.
I can tell you this, being an FSU fan, they certainly need some quarterback play. So maybe he'll.
They do. And I have, speaking of Deion, I have heard that I don't know Deion so much, but Charlie Ward, some of those guys are really, really, really involved in still communicating with recruits.
Yeah.
And I know this. He wasn't even alive when Charlie Ward was my guy. I loved him, but that's still cool for them to be, if it is true, if they are that involved in, whatever, then that's cool.
Yeah, they need some help down there. Okay, last game of the week. It's a big one in the Big Ten, but I don't think it's going to be a big one. Indiana's at Ohio State.
Yeah. I'm afraid this is one of those kind of Cinderella turn midnight type things. I would think that Ohio State will kind of end the little run that Indiana is on.
Yeah, we all agree with you on that. Their schedule is what their schedule is, and they've beaten everybody on their schedule, but. Okay. Well, we appreciate your time as always. Congratulations on getting another gold ball. It was always good to put in a trophy case. And
that is good.
Let's go get another one next week.
Yes, sir. We certainly will. And y'all have a happy and blessed Thanksgiving. And And Becky wanted to make sure I told you guys hi and for y'all to have a happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, thank you. I ran into her last night, and we had a good conversation. So, and my mom said thank you for winning because she gets another football game this week, so she's excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was her 80th birthday yesterday, and we told her that Alan gave her a present, so she was happy.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Coach. Have a good week.
Y'all do the same. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, bye-bye. There he is, Coach Wig.
No thoughts on Coach Prime?
He was a good football player. That's what he said. What you
That
want?
was funny. He had very detailed thoughts on the Kansas guys.
I think Coach Prime just does things so differently than everybody else that it's you come in and you turn the apple cart over and do things differently. Everybody goes,
Well, when you recruit exclusively through the transfer portal, he's probably never spoken to.
yeah, he may not
Wig.
have. Man, the stats from last night,
Weren't very good, were they?
well, it depends which side you were on.
The Eagles.
The Eagles. Allen, 19 first downs. Richardson, 5. Total yards.
It was, I want to say it was after halftime before they even got past the 50.
There was, yeah. Yeah, it certainly was. Having 23 yards at halftime, they didn't go very far. 465 yards for Allen, 252 passing, 213 rushing. Again, this has been a theme all year, and it's just the way Coach Wig coaches is balance. You can, all right, you want to shut it. Like we had 38 yards passing last week, and still won a game. You think about Allen only passing for 38 yards but winning. They found a way.
Well, I'd assume Kyler rushed for 400. That's kind of nice.
Yeah. Richardson, 64 total yards.
Oof.
37 passing on 5 of 16, 3 interceptions, 27 yards rushing. Ouch. On 21 attempts.
Oh, gosh.
So, for those of you that still know how to do division, that's 1.29 yards a rush. Now, they did have a lot of, yards for loss and
Sacks.
the sacks and the drop
Pancakes.
on when the guy went to punt, he dropped the ball. That counts against your rushing. So, 8 penalties for Richardson, the 3 turnovers, the 3 interceptions. Their quarterbacks were 2 of 8 and 3 of 8. Bricker was 10 of 14, 71%, 186 yards, and a beautiful ball to Carter Harris on the 89-yard touchdown. We'll have that highlight. Nate Winger was actually 3 for 4. We had
I think he threw one of those balls as high as he did far.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't. At away games, you don't get to talk to the boys afterwards, so you don't know whether it slipped. I know when I look back at him, he was on the ground, so I don't know if he got hit. I'll have to ask James to see the highlight.
Then again, for us to come down with that ball,
Josiah Johnson, baby.
They had 2 defenders on him, and he came down with that ball.
Unbelievable. He was 3 of 4, for 50 yards. It was just amazing. He threw that one ball 50 yards straight up.
Yeah.
On the rushing side, Mackay was 9 for 119, including a 62-yard touchdown run right up the gut. Just, what Nolan's, I heard Nolan yell, I could have scored.
Yeah, and that's one thing that got the crowd going, but Mackay, my gosh, there was one point that he went into the line, and all you saw was just a mass of people, and then all of a sudden he's standing in the end zone. You go, how did he get out of that?
Yeah.
He ran between somebody's legs.
I heard David. I think he went between somebody's legs. Yeah, that was awesome.
He's got some of the best patience and vision and lateral quickness.
Yep.
Just work his way through all that trash and pop out the other side.
And
it's incredible.
And like Coach said, they were a little tough on the inside. That number 13, their defensive end, was huge.
Yes.
And he mostly came from a stand-up position. He didn't get in a three-pointer. And he was a tough dude to handle in there. Mackay had 2 touchdowns. Hamburg had 2 touchdowns. Spriggs had a touchdown. A lot of people got in the game and got to play. On the receiving side, Carter had the 1 for 89. Donnell, another great night, 6 for 79. His touchdown pass which James already posted on Twitter, which I thought was really cool. It was a thing of beauty. One for Bricker, because Bricker put it right where Donnell was the only one that could catch it. And then to catch it, like his hands over the sideline to bring it in and turn upfield and score was really, really nice.
Quarterback was lost.
He was.
Poor guy.
Josiah had 3 for 42. Reed Farinetto, used to be a linebacker, was receiving the ball last night. Had a couple catches. Good to see Hayden Keys get one as well. As we said, the game started off with a 94-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Damian Crow. Really impressed by him. We talked about how fast he just
runs a 4.4, does the 110.7.
Oh, so you looked it up?
Yeah.
I thought he was a track guy. That's so 14 seconds into the game, Allen's down 6-0. They missed the extra point. On the ensuing kickoff, Brett Holloway takes it 72 yards for the touchdown. Get the extra point, and Allen is up 7-6. Game over at that point, which we didn't know at that point, but game was over. Richardson gets the ball, and this is a theme all night. They punt. Allen takes over at their own 38-yard line, and this is where they get a 7-yard pass to Donnell, and then Mackay goes 62 yards right up the gut.
Right up the middle, not touched. Just wide open hole.
3rd and 3, and he goes right up the middle. For 62 yards, and it's now 14-6. Richardson gets the ball back, and on 2nd down, it's 7 from their own 16. Quarterback threw right in the middle of the field, but he threw it to Henson Amici.
right in his arms, right in his gut.
He didn't have to move.
Nope.
It's like, who's he throwing it to? There's nobody there.
He threw it to Henson. He runs it 24 yards down to the 5-yard line. On the next play, it's the one you were talking about, David. Mackay takes it, disappears in the line, and squirts out to the right and scores. And it's 21-0 with 9 minutes left in the first quarter. So in the first 3 minutes, you've had 4 touchdowns, 3 of them by Allen. And it's just the route is on. Excuse me. Richardson gets the ball. They end up punting. Allen goes 14 plays. They end up scoring, on a Hamburg 4-yard run. The extra point's good. It's 28-6. Richardson gets the ball. They punt down to our 27. Allen ends up going 73 yards. Ends up with a field goal on that. On 3rd and 6, they only get 1 yard, and they elect to go for a field goal to make it 31-6. With 7:33 left in the second quarter. On the next series, Richardson, they still don't get a first down. And this is where the punter goes back to punt, and he drops the ball.
He juggles it a little bit, and then instead of punting it, I'll just fall on it, I guess.
He fell on it at the 14. Allen takes over. It takes them 4 plays, and Hamburg gets his second touchdown of the night. It's 38-6.
That punter's our golden eagle of the game.
He is. On the next series, Richardson gets to the 49-yard line. On the next play, they try to go deep. The receiver just gives up on the ball because it's way overthrown. And the Deacon, LeBron Bauer, intercepts it. And he returned. I don't know how far he ended up returning it, 20 or 30 yards, but right when he intercepted it, Don Quist got a little rough on that receiver who had given up on the play and got a penalty and brought it back to our 21-yard line, I believe.
But what are you going to do?
To the 11.
Tell the Allen defense not to hit people?
Yeah, I didn't see it. Maybe James probably has it on the highlight. I don't know what he did.
If he did.
But he got a penalty. On 1st and 10 from the 13, Bricker loses 2 yards. On the next play, he hits Carter Harris 89 yards right up the center of the field. Brought back flashbacks to Kyler Murray, to Cole Carter at Southlake, just right up the gut.
Yep.
Carter outruns everybody, and it's 45-6. Again, you still got 3 minutes and 22 seconds left in the second quarter. Richardson gets the ball. They punt. Allen takes over on their own 42. They go 6 plays, 58 yards, and they score on the 34-yard touchdown pass from Brady to Donnell. It's 52-6. We forgot to ask Coach about the running clock and who makes that decision.
That's right.
Okay. We can ask that. 52-6 at halftime. The second half opens with Richardson kicking off. And I don't know what it is about kickoffs and Allen all of a sudden, but no one goes for the ball. It just drops. Richardson recovers. It doesn't.
It was kind of a short.
It was a pooch kick.
Yeah.
26 or 28. I can't remember. It was one of those two numbers. I think it was 28. It was Jackson Arnold moved up. He could have gone back and caught it. LeBron was coming forward, but he wasn't there quick enough. And Richardson recovers. Doesn't matter because 5 plays later, they throw an interception to Kalen Mitchison. Pick. Allen proceeds to go.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, there was no Richardson receiver anywhere around him.
I don't know. It was fourth down. It was like a punt.
It was throwing out. Yeah, exactly. P for K.
Yeah. This is where on first down, Nate threw the fly ball to Josiah Johnson. I'm going to call it that.
That's a good call.
Yeah, they're shooting skeet or something. I don't know. But it goes for 33 yards out to the 48, and Allen ends up punching it in on a 2-yard Lindensbury touchdown to 59-6. Again, you've got a running clock. Second half goes really quick.
Yeah, the first half went 2 hours, and the second half went 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was over, and everybody was happy, and at least on our side of the field, and everybody goes home to live to fight another day. So, third round, Allen is proceeding to. We'll play the winner of Trinity Midland Legacy, a game that starts in about 4 hours. It's on MidlandLegacySports.com if you want to watch it. Give you an idea of who you're playing against and what to expect. I really think Trinity will win this game personally. I mean, Trinity's playing well. It's Trinity. I mean, we've all seen it over the years, and it's, they do have Tupou at quarterback, former Allen Eagle. They are a bit more balanced than they used to be. They have a little bit of a passing game where they're not just ground and pound, but Josh Bell is a good running back, and they're big as always. So it'll be, if it is Trinity, it'll be an interesting test for the Allen defense to see how they hold up against that. So Thanksgiving this Thursday, enjoy the time with your family and friends, and watching some football. Good football on today. Next week's even better. You got the Aggies and the Longhorns renewing their rivalry next Saturday, which will be it's a big game in the SEC, especially.
Yeah, we better be playing Friday then.
Ooh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's not good. It's a night game though, so that'll be good. Hopefully, hopefully playing local if we play too. So we'll figure it out. Miss all the guys that aren't here. Sorry. We'll get the highlights posted in here once James gets back later today, and get this thing posted. Anything else, folks?
Just hope we're not playing at Carroll. It's such a bad
Pay for parking. Yeah.
Pay for parking, one concession stand open.
Maybe they'll be better this year. What are the odds?
I don't know. It's Carroll.
It's interesting though because it was one concession stand at McKinney, but it seems to go quicker over there. I don't know why. I mean, they got a lot of people. I never went to the concession stand at Carroll, so I don't know how many people they have in there.
Yeah,
but that line was ridiculously long last time we played there. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's probably all the sushi or something.
Yeah. Around last night, North Crowley beat the pants off Permian. In fact, it was Permian's worst playoff loss ever, 72-14. Coppell wins, so it's Coppell and North Crowley next week. That's in the bracket that Allen's in. That's why I bring it out. Duncanville wins as always. Southlake Carroll, 49-42.
Yeah, they were behind too.
Yeah, a game that against Friendship, and I don't know what happened there, but they pull it out, and I think they got DeSoto staring them in the face here soon, if not this week. I don't know exactly when. But everything else is going according to the plan, I suppose. So we'll see. The brackets get tighter, like Coach says. It gets a little tougher every week. So we'll see how it goes. So enjoy Thanksgiving, folks. Appreciate you listening. If you hadn't subscribed, please do so. Click the button below. We appreciate that. Until next week, it's over.